everybody to Blustrat Trading. Today we're going to go through the first Dansco 7070 binder that I've put together and will put for sale up on eBay. Here, just to start out, everything that's included with what I'm going to sell is going to be the full Dansco 7070 typeset album with the slip case. And then with that, I've taken the time to authenticate each coin, and we'll go through that here in a moment. And I've listed out every coin in the album, its year, mint, how much silver it has, and troy ounces, if that's applicable. My estimated grade based off of the red book grading there. Its weight, diameter, and then ping test, magnetic slide test, and then the Metalytics PMV verifier, if that is applicable to the silver coins. So this will be included in the set for every coin in the album, and up on eBay I'll have pictures of each of these on the listing, so you can take a look at them with more detail on the listing as well. But we'll go through quickly each page of the album here. But in total there, you can see there's just over 12 ounces of silver in the set. So I'll go through the album here quickly, and then we'll take a break after I go through the album and authenticate. I'll show you how I authenticated some of the most valuable coins. Oh, just before I get to taking a look at the album, I also made a certificate of authenticity, which just goes over how I authenticate the coins, and just a little bit about my company and my signature there. And I'm going to put this certificate of authenticity in the backside of a large note or horse blanket dollar. I'll put it in the back here on this side. Just a little extra bonus for buying the album. You'll also get a large note, $1 bill, see a series of 1923, and a sticker I'll throw in there as well. Alright, cool, let's get into the album. So I've spent a lot of time getting and sourcing all the coins for this album. It is complete, and I know the camera doesn't do a great job, especially with some of these brown coins, the older brown coins, like the half cents, the large cents, and so forth. But I'll just bring these up to the camera. I've done the best I could with the lighting here. So there's your half cents at the top. Nothing older than 1800. I think the oldest is 1804 for the drape bust half cent, and the drape bust large cent is 1807. The goal with this album is to get an example of every coin, not necessarily the highest quality coin. So it is a complete album. As you'll see later in some of the more valuable coins, they're not in the greatest of shape, but I'm hoping to sell this at a price point that is affordable for someone to start their collection off, or if they just want a piece of history. They've got a complete Dansco 7070 type album. So going back, there is a polished steel cent there. The 2-cent piece is pretty nice. That's a nice example of one there, as well as the 3-cent nickel. Trying to get the glare to go away from the light here. All right, the second page, we've got the half dimes, the nickels, and the dimes. So the half dimes, the cap bust it's in pretty good shape. It's got some weird toning on it, but other than that, it's in good shape for the cap bust half dime. Well, at a minimum, if I got a worn coin in there, you got to be able to read the date, so at least can get a good grade, or for the older coins, an about good. Anything beyond that, you can't really authenticate it. You can estimate based off other features what type of coin it is, but I wanted at a minimum the dates to be readable. Some of these dimes are in pretty good shape there. The Mercury dime is a really nice example. A cheaper coin, of course, but 1943 Mercury there. All right, going on to the quarters and the 20 cent piece here at the top. It's a pretty rough example. It's been polished and cleaned, but it is an authentic 20-cent piece. Your cap bust quarters and your seated quarters, or cap bust quarter and seated quarters. Your type 1 standing Liberty. It's a 1917. The date is a little bit hard to read on there. And then I got a proof clad quarter there for the Washington. Now, when I bought this album, someone had carved out the capped bust slot there. They probably were trying to fit a bigger coin that wasn't supposed to fit in there. So that is kind of the only defect on this album, the album itself anyway. Liberty seated no motto is a pretty slicked out coin, but authentic. All right, in this next page, we get into some of the heavy hitters. So at the top, we've got nice examples of walking Liberty halves. Franklin halves is a proof-like 64 Kennedy. The commemoratives, there's 2 silver and there's 2 clad commemoratives. Got one of the more popular commemoratives, the Stone Mountain half there. And your silver dollars, the 2 biggest or priciest coins in the album is your seated Liberty, no motto, and motto. And then probably the 3rd most valuable coin is going to be the trade dollar. So I would say the Liberty seated has definitely been cleaned and polished, as well as the trade dollar. I'll show you later how I authenticated those despite their cleaned appearance. And then the Liberty seated motto's got some markings or graffiti on the obverse there. Just a 21 Morgan, a 34 piece dollar, and a clad Eisenhower on this page. And the last page, got a 76 quarter, and then I actually have a 40% half and a 40% dollar for the bicentennial. Susie B, Sacagawea, and then a normal just clad 50 state commemorative. And then your silver dollar commemorative here is the 1989. And then your West Point quarter here, or West Point ASE for 2025. I did forget to mention, I'll go back here, I do have a coin from every mint that a silver coin was minted in the US. So no Charlotte, because they only minted gold coins. But other than that, there is a Carson City coin in here, which I have on the COA, and that's going to be, see if I can get that to zoom, or focus rather, your 1875 seated Liberty dime. So I'll go back and show you that. So down here, that's going to be a Carson City, there we go, 1875 Carson City Liberty seated dime. We'll get the reverse here. It's going to be hard to see the mint mark, but I'll make sure that shows well in the camera, or the pictures that I take to put this on eBay. And that's the album here. So we'll take a pause here for a moment, and I'll bust out some of the more pricey coins and just show you how I authenticated these, and we'll go from there. The camera zoomed in here to show the year 1875 Carson City dime there, and I'll zoom back out here. Just wanted to show the authenticity of that. I got the gloves here on for safety, but we'll zoom back out, and then I'll take you through my process here on how I authenticate a lot of these coins. So the biggest thing I wanted to get before I felt comfortable selling back was the PMV Metalytics verifier here. So I got it set on pre-1900. All it does is it tests the specificity of the coin there. So there's your trade dollar in the brackets. It's not the most, it's supposed to be very accurate. It's an accurate test for bullion. It's not the most accurate for constitutional silver, or in this case, even pre-1900 coins, just because, one, the mints weren't as specific about the properties of each coin they minted, and then two, it only tests the specificity. So there are more advanced versions of this that do test some other things in the coins to verify their exact content. But in addition to this verifier, you can also weigh the coin, do a ping test, measure with the calipers, and then I've got a magnetic slide over here. So when I'm authenticating a coin, we'll do our 1860 seated Liberty dollar. Run it down the slide there. So you notice it goes down slowly, whereas a fake coin, this is a fake Walking Liberty half that came with it, goes down pretty fast. The other thing you can do a ping test on the coin. So I'm using the glove here for safety, but I'll just put it in my ping tester here, hit run on the app. And it tests good, 2 out of 3 frequencies there. And that's pretty typical for these older coins, just because their diameter and their silver content wasn't perfect in the mint prior to 1900. And then also, when you look at some coins like the coins with arrows, like this 1854 half, when I put it on the Sigma here, it tests just off to the right. It has the same diameter as the coins prior to 1853 when they started putting arrows on the coins. However, it has less silver, and so the tester isn't perfect at identifying that. But same thing, if you run the slide test, it slides down slowly, which means it's definitely made of silver. We can run it on the calipers there, which I won't show now, but it's just another test that's on our spreadsheet that has all the information here. And these yellow boxes indicate that it didn't test perfect on the Sigma, but it was just outside the brackets. We can weigh it, so I can weigh my 1854 half dollar there. So it's supposed to weigh out at 12.44. It's 11.81 grams. Most of these coins are worn, which is what leads to it being underweight. And then I got the same thing for the 1834 half dollar, which has the lettered edge in this year of the series. Doesn't test out perfect on the Sigma. Same thing if I use the wand, it doesn't matter what size wand. Just outside the brackets there, but it will weigh fine, the diameter's fine, and then, sorry, it's hard to get this up with the glove there. And then if I go in here and search for the half dollar, it will ping just fine. So I can go in here and go and find my bust halves. There it is. And this one's specific for the larger lettered edge series. Go in here, get ready to do my ping test, check it. And it checks out great, 3 out of 3. So, you take the 5-step process that I've done to authenticate these coins. You might have one test that's just off. The coins may come in underweight if they're worn. The diameters usually can be a little smaller too if they're worn, but within reason, they all pass 4 out of 5 tests or close on the 5th one, which I would say they're authentic to me. So if I run the slide test on all these, which I just have some magnets underneath this felt here. They all test out good. Nothing to me indicates that they're fake. So I'm going to put this up on eBay, and I hope you guys agree with the price point based off the authenticity and the time that I've taken to source the coins, verify that they're authentic, the money that I've spent on getting a verifier here, that I know I'm selling a good product back, and along with the coin, I've got the coin book, I've got my COA, which will come in this cool horse blanket dollar, and then you'll get a whole spreadsheet that lists every coin and my approximate grade, how much silver is in them, and then how they test it out between the ping test, magnetic slide, and metalytics tester, the PMV right here, if they contain silver. And some of the smaller coins, like the half dimes, can't do the ping test, but they'll test fine on this. The 40% Eisenhower and $50 from 1976, they don't have a ping test for that necessarily, but they don't have the PMV on here, so I can't run it on here because this just does 90% before 1900 and after 1900, and then after that there's a couple other options like 80% Canadian, but I can't test 40% silver on here. So, but other tests, ping test, diameter, weight, they all check out for a silver test or a silver 40% coin. So anyway, I spent a lot of time putting this together to verify it's authentic before I put it up for sale, and I hope that this video helps put your mind at rest if you're electing to make this purchase and buy an excellent example of American history. Anyway, guys, I'll be back with you next time. As you see in the background over here, I've got albums 2 and 3, which I've got mostly put together, that I will be authenticating next and putting those up for sale once I complete the albums. Number 2 is actually over there and it's ready to go. Number 3, I'm just working on getting a trade dollar, another seeded dollar with motto, and I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully with the sales that I have from this first album, I can buy a couple more coins for 3, and then I'll be ahead here and on my way to selling multiple albums. So anyway, guys, thanks for tagging along to Blustrat Trading. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.